I remember back in high school, we used to make out in the bathroom. You stood me up right by the sun. You had me feeling like a damn. It could have been me and you all along.
What up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well and staying safe. So today I'm going to be working on my boy Bruce right here. See, the hood is open. I'm just going to be doing the same, run-of-the-mill oil change. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know how to do that on your own car, so I'm not really going to go through too much of that. But what I'm doing is showing you this bad boy right here. I'm going to be installing the Fumoto drain valve or drain plug into my boy right here. The Hulk has one. He's just chilling inside the garage right there. He already has one on him, and let me tell you, it makes your life so much easier. So I'm going to throw this in the description so you guys can purchase it from Amazon or Fumoto themselves. All you got to do is go to Fumoto's site if you want to really check for fitment. Just put year, make, and model, and they'll tell you, or you can even call them up if you have a freaking problem. So anyway, let's go. All right, fam, huge tidbit right here. Anybody with the air ride suspension system in these trucks, this is very important, and this is what you need to do. You need to go into controls, settings, down once, go to suspension. When you go to suspension, you see tire jack mode. Tire jack mode stops the suspension from compensating. So what it does, I'll show you right here. Once you tap it, air suspension temporarily disabled. So what I did was I put it to the maximum height, which is off-road 2, and then you hit tire jack mode and it disables the suspension. And that is what you want to do, because if you're underneath this car and somebody climbs onto the car or you push hard enough, it's going to think that the suspension needs to be compensated for, and this thing is going to start moving while you're underneath there, up or down. So you don't want that. All right, guys, there's one thing to mention. Aside from getting your proper oil and filter and whatnot, just remember a couple things to do. Pull your dipstick for some increased airflow, and definitely try to get your, see, shit is freaking hard. Try to get your oil cap off first before you try draining your oil. How problematic would it be if you finish draining your oil and you can't open the oil cap? That would probably suck, and you might end up having to break something. That's what I'm saying. All right, guys, so a couple things you're gonna need. You're gonna need a torque wrench, especially to torque your Fumoto drain valve down. Actually, most people have torque specs on their pans and they don't follow. Obviously, your drain pan. I'm about to get the oil and oil filter out of the truck right now, and you're wondering why I got this vacuum here. This is a freaking special trick I've known for about 20 years that I've really never shared with anyone, but it's a really dope way to save yourself on spilling oil if you happen to overfill it or not. Or, matter of fact, let's just say I had gotten this Fumoto drain valve and I just changed my oil. There's a way I can literally apply this technique and not spill any oil and swap the plugs over. Okay, guys, so real simple. What you do is you take a piece of cloth, you cover the nozzle. You take a piece of cloth, cover the nozzle of the vacuum, see right there, then you put it inside of the hole. Now once you have it in the hole like that, as you or somebody else is draining underneath, you turn the vacuum on before the plug comes out, and you'll see what happens. All right, guys, so with the appropriate socket and wrench, you start loosening the oil drain plug. And I'll tell my assistant to turn on the vacuum now. All right, go ahead, turn it on. Got it? And voila, nothing's falling out. See that? All right, release. And there you go. Put it back. Okay, turn it off. Worked like a freaking charm. All right, guys, so with all the oil drained, make sure they give you a nice little gasket on there. Start threading it in. Obviously, the threads match my pan, so it works. All right, guys, so this is the portion of the class where you really have to pay attention to. So right here, first thing, see my trusty torque wrench right here? It's at 18 foot-pounds. The reason why, I was on the phone with Fumoto because I saw something, I saw a little blurb on Amazon and on their site that nobody usually picks up on, is this. The regular drain plug for this pan, for this ram, the torque spec is 25 foot-pounds to tighten it down. Fumoto drain valves have their own torque spec. The F106 series, it's 18 foot-pounds, and that is the reason why I have my torque wrench adjusted to 18 foot-pounds. So now, that's a really important takeaway that you guys have to know. Second thing, see this right here? You might think that you could just put a nice 17mm socket, because that's what it takes, and torque it down from the front. Warning, you do not torque it down from the front. You have to torque it down from the side, or they call it the body. You have, once again, I'm gonna repeat that. You do not torque it down from the front, you torque it down from the side. The reason why is if you, it's a very, listen, it's an outdated system, I think. Don't get me wrong, it works. But if you happen to torque this down from the front, there is a chance if you over tighten or over torque, in case you didn't know, you can actually damage the valve on the interior of this, and you can end up springing a leak. So you definitely don't want to do that. So definitely pay attention to that. Now, for the guys who have tools, one of the ways you could torque this down from the side is if you have a crow's foot wrench. A crow's foot wrench is pretty much a wrench head with a square hole with a, which is a 3/8 or 1/2 inch drive. You could put the torque wrench and an extension on it and torque it down like that. Now, for the guys who don't have a torque wrench, for the do-it-yourselfer who doesn't have the tools like that, what I did find out from Fumoto is that once you hand tighten it, you could take a wrench that fits this right here and give it a nice 1/2 turn to make it just like, you know, snug or hand, not hand tight, but tight enough where you can feel it. Guys, I'm not talking about like if you're lonely on a Saturday night and you're frustrated and you yank the shit out of this. Do not over tighten it. Use your head and obviously give it a nice, once it's nice and snug with your hand, give it a nice 1/2 turn. And that will be acceptable from Fumoto. Now, the best way to do it is what? Using a torque wrench. So a torque wrench, any do-it-yourselfer out there, get yourself one. They're on Amazon. I'll throw mine in the link in the description. They're cheap, guys. Definitely get one, because most things on your car, there's a torque spec for. And most drain plugs on pans, there are torque specs, and most guys do not know that. So now you know the deal. So the torque spec on this, just to review, 18 foot-pounds for the F106. I'll make a separate video for the Subaru. And you do not torque from the front, you torque it from the body or the side. So now all we got to do, take off the filter, wipe down the mounting plate surface, put the new filter on, add oil, and we're done. Oh guys, I forgot to mention, Fumoto actually gives you this cool, nifty little check valve stopper right here. It literally goes in like this. See the space in between it? That goes in between this lever right here. So, and it just goes in, and it pops in like that. So it prevents any, it's not going to do it anyway. Some guys use it, some guys don't. I use it. So to take it off, just pull it off like this, and then you can, to move the check valve, obviously there's a spring, so you push up and then turn. So you push up and then turn it that way to drain the oil the next time. So nothing is really gonna move that, but just in case, for a peace of mind, some of you guys OCD like, just put that check valve right there and you're straight.
I'm not taking chances, I got too much on the line. It's in my DNA to stay on
right, so I added about 6 quarts. I'm gonna take the funnel out, close it up, start it, check for any leaks, go underneath, and just double check everything. This takes 7 quarts. I'm probably gonna have to add another quart. And that's really it, guys. So in the rest of this time lapse, you're gonna see me just finishing up the car. And that is it. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully, you know, somewhere along the line, you guys can use that tip I did with the vacuum. I'm pretty sure some who didn't know about it wish that they did know that tip at some point or the other. And I will throw all the stuff that I'm using in the description of this video. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see y'all soon.
Vitamins and minerals. It's nothing new to me to grind, writing heat while up inside. I'm designed to make the combination critical. Don't be sending me no text saying if this ever ends, let's go back to being friends. Unforgivable. Go outside. I'm not taking chances. I got too much on the line. It's in my DNA.